Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show, and we have to talk about Bayonetta 3 again because a lot has transpired since my previous video in which I was discussing how Hellena Taylor came out and discussed essentially why she did not come back to reprise her role as Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3, and that was a response to Platinum Games saying that essentially the reason why they didn't end up collabing with Hellena Taylor to reprise the role of Bayonetta is because of scheduling differences. So a lot has transpired since then, and now Jason Schreier put out an article, Bloomberg, discussing essentially more details and maybe that Hellena Taylor wasn't being completely honest. So we're gonna get into that, but first, I really do want to start off with a response from Jennifer Hale, the voice actress that will be playing Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. So yeah, we're gonna start there and just get into all the details that has come out since my previous video. All right, guys. So about a day after Helena Taylor's Twitter videos came out, Jennifer Hale put out this response about Bayonetta 3. With regard to Bayonetta 3, as a longtime member of the voice acting community, I support every actor's right to be paid well and have advocated consistently for this for years. Anyone who knows me or has followed my career will know that I have a great respect for my peers and I am an advocate for all members of the community. I am under an NDA and am not at liberty to speak in regards to this situation. My reputation speaks for itself. I sincerely ask that everyone keep in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hardworking, dedicated people, and I hope everyone will keep an open mind about what they've created. Finally, I hope that everyone involved may resolve their differences in an amicable and respectful way with love and respect to you all, Jennifer Hale. So what Jennifer Hale said, I completely appreciate that. While, I'm unhappy that she's voicing Bayonetta, this is a class act on her part. So big shout out to her on that. It's a difficult situation. She's been, kind of dragged into this, and for people that may have been essentially, shitting on her for this situation, that's definitely, wrongly placed anger, guys. Do not shit on Jennifer Hill for what's going on. She clearly has nothing to do with it. She's just, filling a spot. I'm not gonna shit on someone, getting work and doing their things. She has no control over any of that. So if anybody's attacking her for this shit, like, shame on you. Seriously, it's really dumb and pointless. But moving on to Jason Schreier's article, he said a tense pay dispute overshadows Nintendo's upcoming Bayonetta 3. The former star of the Bayonetta series reignited an industry debate over fair compensation. A pay dispute between the creator of a critically acclaimed video game series and its star voice actor reignited a long simmering debate over wages in the industry. As is often the case in these sorts of disagreements, the details surrounding negotiations and castings for the upcoming game Bayonetta 3 are more complicated than what has been portrayed publicly. The feud spilled out into the open over the weekend when Hellena Taylor, the star of the first two Bayonetta games, said she would not appear in the next iteration, set to be released for the Nintendo Switch on October 28th. She posted a series of videos Saturday on Twitter accusing Nintendo Company and the game's developer Platinum Games of offering her a total of $4,000 to reprise her role. She said she rejected the lowball offer and asked fans to refrain from buying the game. If you're someone who cares about people, who cares about the world around you, who cares about who gets hurt with these financial decisions, then I urge you to boycott this game, Taylor said in one of the videos. Like, my problem with what she's saying here is that, look, if my job lowballs the shit out of me, who the fuck is gonna boycott for me? Nobody. I really don't like that that's her response. If she was unfairly, treated, it's definitely important to voice these things, but to encourage people to boycott the game. I was completely against that. A lot of people kind of, I wouldn't say attacked me in the comments, but said one person actually on my last video in the YouTube comments section was saying I am immoral for not boycotting the game, and their avatar was Bayonetta. It was fucking hilarious, and I just laughed and said thanks. But yeah, this is kind of the shit that we're dealing with. The videos went viral, racking up more than 9.5 million views on Twitter. Taylor's story touched a nerve among gamers. Voice actors are beloved by fans but fail to command anywhere close to what a Hollywood actor makes. Game actors have a long complained of being underpaid and underappreciated. That's a constant thing. I think that's why, it kind of blew up fast, because we consistently hear of voice actors getting shit on by the industry and kind of just thrown to the wayside. And as someone who knows, an individual who is a voice actor, like, he constantly, talks about how difficult it is to make a proper living on being a voice actor. And I totally understand that. It really does suck. Some have said they receive little information about their roles until they show up in the recording booth. The industry operates in such clandestine ways of that actors sometimes won't even know what game they're recording lines for until it's released. That's crazy. Like, that job must be pretty, like, difficult, man. It's like, you have to, when you're voice acting, it's like you have to be in character, you have to portray a character accurately. Like, knowing so little about a game, being able to belt out a good performance, even if it's just vocally, that definitely takes skill, no doubt. The tensions last crested during contract negotiations in 2016, when the union representing many voice actors, that the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, orchestrated a strike that lasted nearly a year. One of the sticking points was residuals, meaning compensation for actors when sales of a game outperformed expectations. Voice actors gave up that fight in exchange for receiving bonuses based on the number of sessions they work. In the case of Bayonetta 3, the developer appeared to be determined to rehire Taylor, according to two people familiar with negotiations as well as documentation reviewed by Bloomberg. Here's where their accounts differ. Platinum Games sought to hire Taylor for at least 5 sessions, each session paying $3,000 to $4,000 for 4 hours in the studio. So essentially, I guess that would, uh that would come out to what, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, for that's so, 20K for 5 sessions. That would be like, what, 20 hours of work in the studio. Said the people who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to discuss private contract negotiations. That would make a total for the game at least 15K. Yeah, if we're going at the $3,000 marker, for sure, it's like at least 15. In response, they said Taylor asked for a 6-figure sum as well as residuals on the game. Platinum declined, and following lengthy negotiations, took auditions for a new actor. Platinum later offered Taylor a cameo in a game for the fee of 1 session, which he turned down. The people said, damn. So their numbers were, what she wanted was like pretty high. And their number is definitely pretty low. I really don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know how much voice actors get paid, or what they should get paid. I have no idea. What I will say is, I mean, Bayonetta is typically a game that's kind of short. These experiences go from like 8 to 10 hours in regards to Bayonetta 1 and 2. So the amount of voice acting required for this game is different from, like, some really long games that have a lot of dialogue. Bayonetta, the character, definitely has a lot of dialogue. It's her game. But I don't know, you know, how pricing works for games that are shorter than, other games. So I can't really say, but they definitely were completely different in terms of just like what they were asking. So, and even when they offered her to make a cameo in the game, they offered her like $3,000 to $4,000 to do a cameo, and she turned that down as well. Yeah, I mean, clearly that kind of says that there's some bitterness there. Not being able to reprise a character that you're passionate about, I can understand. Whereas a bit of bitterness, I totally get that. In an email, Taylor described this account as an absolute lie and said Platinum was trying to save their ass and the game. She said she stood by everything she said in the video. I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me, quite frankly, get on with my life in the theater, she wrote. Damn. Well, that's kind of depressing. Representatives for Platinum Games and Nintendo didn't respond to requests for comment. Hideki Kamiya, the executive director of Bayonetta 3, called Taylor's allegations sad and deplorable in a Twitter post. So, I mean, at this point, it's her word against multiple others, it seems like, at least from, like, the investigation work that Jason Schreier has done. Regardless, Taylor's comments resonated widely, dominating headlines on gaming websites, and even gracing the digital pages of TMZ. Several of Taylor's peers spoke out after her videos. Brian DeChart, who acted in Cyberpunk 2077 and Red Dead Redemption 2, said he was offered $4,000 to work on a non-union project for a big budget game. John Chiplock, who voiced 3 characters in the Nintendo blockbuster Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, said he was paid about $3,000 for that job. The Bayonetta series is beloved by fans and critics, but has never been a big commercial success. It's true. Bayonetta is a niche franchise. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, I don't really know, like, how much money is put into the voice acting. I really can't say, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know things that I don't know. The Nintendo Switch version of Bayonetta 2, released in 2018, has sold just over 1 million copies, far fewer than many of Nintendo's other offerings. I remember when Bayonetta 2 came out for the Wii U. That's the original launch. I had pre-ordered the game, and when I walked into GameStop, they didn't even know what I wanted. I actually was like, yes, Bayonetta 2 came out today. And they were like, oh, they actually had to look for the copy of the game. They only got a handful of copies in that GameStop for Bayonetta 2. And I was like, yikes, that definitely is not a good look for the game. So I knew automatically that the game probably wasn't going to do well. And I know that the Wii U sales for Bayonetta 2 were abysmal, mainly because, the Wii U wasn't really a popular console. It didn't sell very well, so that had a lot going against it, or in terms of sales for an already pretty niche franchise. For Bayonetta 3, the acting costs were higher than other projects because the studio relied on union performers. Okay, that's interesting. Said 3 people familiar with the game's production, which meant a minimum of about $900 for a 4-hour voice session plus bonuses. For prominent actors or franchise stars like Taylor usually make more. In her videos, Taylor mentioned Jennifer Hale, the prolific voice actor who took over the role Bayonetta in the new game. I wish her all the joy in the world. I wish for all the jobs, but she has no right to say she's the voice of Bayonetta, Taylor said. I created that voice. She has no right to sign merchandise as Bayonetta. Hale faced some vicious online harassment as a result. She wrote Monday on Twitter that she had signed a non-disclosure agreement and couldn't elaborate on the situation. I sincerely ask that everyone keep in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hard-working, dedicated people, and I hope everyone will keep an eye open for what they've created, she wrote. A few hours later, she retweeted a Twitter thread from another voice actor saying, if you only hear one side or part of one side of a story, you haven't heard the whole story. So yeah, basically he's just talking about what we briefly went over with Jennifer Hale. It is kind of disgusting that people went and attacked her for it. Like, she has nothing to do with the situation. It kind of reminds me of back when it was announced that what is it? Rise of the Tomb Raider was going to be exclusive to Xbox. Immediately, people started attacking um the Laura Croft voice actress, Camilla Luddington, and it's just like she has fuck all to do with that decision. Like, why are you attacking her? Like, super misplaced anger there. But yeah, Jason Schreier said, let's just briefly go through his Twitter thread. He said last weekend, Bayonetta's former voice actor called for fans to boycott the new game, saying she was offered just $4,000 to work on it. Her Twitter videos went viral and stoked a debate. Stroked a debate, stoked a debate over voice actor wages. But the full story is much more complicated. Platinum offered Hellena Taylor between $4,000 and $5,000. I mean, $3,000 and $4,000 for 5 sessions. Taylor asked for a six-figure fee and residuals negotiations fell apart. Taylor denies this account in an email. Yep. Taylor's videos received more than blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Taylor's videos led to a barrage of Twitter vitriol and harassment. Yeah, it's like, it's unlikely that the full story will get as much traction as many eyeballs as the original Twitter videos, which in my opinion raises some interesting questions about pleas to emotion and how information is disseminated in the social media age. I mean, look, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, obviously I put out the video earlier, I think Saturday night. Obviously I'm going to do a follow-up video because this is too much and to not talk about, because I do want the truth at the end of the day. I think that's what everyone wants. But I mean, I think it's just sad that it has come to this. Um, it's like at the end of the day, are we getting what we want as Bayonetta fans? No, because Hellena Taylor, is Bayonetta. It is what it is. Bayonetta 3 could end up being the best Bayonetta game that has ever come out. And it just won't feel quite right noticing that her voice is different from what we've come to know, what we've come to love as fans. It seems as though, look, I'm not gonna say Hellena Taylor is a liar, but it seems as though this story is way more complicated than we thought, and someone isn't telling the truth. Now, I think that Platinum wasn't telling the truth when they were saying, like they're saying that Hellena Taylor's schedule didn't give them a time to be able to meet up and do the work. Was that, them just being on some bullshit because simply, they didn't want to say that they just lowballed the shit out of her. And that it could be that, or it could just be them trying to be nice in what happened and not say it was all about money in a good way that makes Helena Taylor look, not greedy or whatever. But that could be either or really. But Helena Taylor, saying all of this, that she was only offered $4,000, and it seems as though more than one person is saying that that's not true. That's just 4,000 for one session, 3 to 4,000 for one session. I'm just disappointed. At the end of the day, none of this discussion is going to, like I said, give us what we want. I don't really know what to say. I'm just trying to put out what we know. It seems like this is definitely more complicated. And it's just weird that this is the most attention the Bayonetta franchise has arguably ever gotten. I wonder how that is going to translate in sales. A lot of people were running to boycott this game just based on what Helena Taylor was saying, and I was against that in terms of I wasn't personally going to boycott. But if someone wanted to they didn't want to buy the game anymore, that's you do you, bro. I'm not going to tell you not what to do. But yeah, it seems like, maybe if you want the game, just buy the game, because this is like a little crazy. Like this, who knows what the truth is at the end of the day, right? A lot of people are still saying, even $20,000 is lowballing. And I mean, I don't know. I really can't say for sure. I don't know anything about money dispute when it comes to voice acting. I know nothing of that. So all I could say is what we know, and you guys make of it what you will. And I'm still buying the fucking game. I hope that it honestly translates into more sales and convinces people to visit the original two games, because Bayonetta, the franchise, is amazing. So that's what I'm hoping, because I really do love and adore the Bayonetta franchise. And I'm going to play this new game and I'm going to have fun with it. Hopefully, if the game is good. Like, from what I've seen, everything looks insane. I will say, if you want the game, buy the fucking game and play the game. You do you, man, at the end of the day, right? No one's gonna boycott for you if you get fucked over at your job, right? That's the way I look at it. It happens. It is what it is. But if you don't want to buy the game, don't buy the game. You know. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this crazy ass situation. Uh, if you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitch or Twitter if you want to continue the conversation. And guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.